I don't think enough people take the time to ask why. Why do they want a short-term rental, or why is this particular model advantageous? Many people would just say cash is great, cash flow is great, and it is.
Mhm.
I just think there's plenty of opportunity to align it to something bigger than that.
What's up, everybody? My name's Mike Sjogren, here with my co-host,
Emmanuel Pani.
We're part of a group of specialized real estate investors you've probably never heard of.
We didn't start with deep pockets or wealthy families, and we don't rely on 401ks, mutual funds, or traditional real estate investing.
In fact, many of us don't even own the properties that fund our freedom. If you ask the money experts out there, they'd say what we do is impossible, yet it's happening every single day.
It's happening through a new niche called short-term rentals.
We are Short-Term Rental Nation, and these are our secrets. What's going on, STR Nation? Welcome back to another episode of the Short-Term Rental Secrets podcast. I am your host, Mike Sjogren, here with my main man and brother from another mother, Mr. Emmanuel Pani. What's up, B?
What's up, my brother? So good to see you. Beautiful weeks, just super busy. It's amazing. We are onboarding a new management property for a client that is getting a full rental. What's awesome and it's such a gift. Our entire team got hired on the project. So our GC got hired, our designer got hired. And again, we've talked about this in the past, right? It's just such a unique perspective on the short-term rental industry that you can like feed your whole family, right? Like the whole team gets to eat, because anytime we onboard a new property, my whole team gets to eat. Like my contractor, my designer, my cleaning crews get just more work and more jobs. So it's just such a beautiful thing to see. The family's from out of state, so we were just excited to help them kind of create a little vacation spot that kind of hacks itself or pays for itself, which is perfect that we have Aaron as a guest, because when I think about any kind of hacking, credit card hacking, travel hacking, money hacking, I think of Aaron. So I am super stoked to have him on. What about you? Did you watch the Masters?
100%. 100%. We watched the Masters. Yeah, man, things are good. The golf course opened up yesterday, so I got my first round in. I didn't play very good, but I don't really care because it was almost 70 and sunny, and it was just nice to get out and hit some balls. So yeah, man, it was good. And heading back down to Florida tomorrow for like a week and a half. Enjoy some family time. Now the house is done. Like I'm basically just going down to enjoy it now. Got a couple days at Disney.
Nice.
Hanging out with my buddy in Sarasota for a day, getting out on his boat and just living life, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
And we've got a couple, by the time this airs on Monday, we've got a couple cool stuff going on Tuesday. So I'm doing a live stream with Chris Ledwidge from The Lender on Tuesday at 1:00. We literally just talked about this like today. He hit me up and he was like, hey, do you want to do an update on interest rates and the lending environment, kind of a recap from Q1 and what he's projecting for the rest of the year? And I said, absolutely. So that'll be streaming in the free Facebook group on Tuesday at 1:00. And then at 2:00, doing a webinar with Bill and a bunch of our guest speakers for the conference to talk about what they're going to be talking about and give you guys a preview of what's going to go down in Nashville on June 6th to the 8th. So in case you've been living under a rock and you haven't heard, we are hosting the largest host-driven event in the industry. It's going to be June 6th to 8th in Nashville, Tennessee, the Short-Term Rental Wealth Conference. I will be there. E will be there. And it's with my good friend, Bill Faith, founder of Build Short-Term Rental Wealth. And we've got some amazing speakers coming down from every corner of the globe. Our buddy Mark Simpson's coming over from London to talk about marketing. We got Julie George coming all the way in from Australia. A whole bunch of people, TJ Tajani, Noble, Kyle Stanley, Dr. Rachel. I think almost all of them, if not all of them, have been guests on the show. And it's just going to be a sweet time. We got a huge welcome party on Monday, and then we got 2 full days of content on Tuesday and Wednesday. So if you haven't yet, go get your tickets. We've already sold out over 50% of the tickets. So there's going to be 1,000 people. We've already sold, actually more than that. We've sold close to 600 tickets so far. So it's going to be awesome, and I can't wait to see you guys there. So I think those are the only updates I got, man. And I heard you had lunch with my boy Tim down there.
We had dinner. This is the beauty also of our industry and just like the mastermind groups that we've been a part of. It's this guarantee of this like-mindedness that you, as soon as you meet somebody, and just this ability, instead of staying kind of like shallow and wide, to really be able to go like super deep and super narrow. So it was a lot of fun to actually hang out with him. We're looking for a place for him. He I think he got a little bit heartbroken because we saw a place and then somebody came in 80,000 over asking or 60,000 over asking and kind of took it away from us. But it's part of the game, right? And it's also in this market. It's such a like important thing for you to remember is one, it's going to take you some time, and two, you have to see the opportunity. And this was a 3-bedroom house that I know by the square footage could get extra space for an extra bedroom. And so his understanding there is like, where is the best opportunity, right? Can I find a 3-bedroom that is priced like a 3-bedroom, but I can easily add a wall in a bedroom and give myself that competitive advantage for $100,000 to $150,000 less than what a 4-bedroom will cost me.
Yep.
Right. So it's really understanding that. But I'm confident we'll find him something. It just
It's
gotta be
just
the right
patience
time.
and persistence, man. It's just like anything else in life. And
Yes. I don't know
it'll
how
happen.
patient he is. I don't know him that well, but he doesn't strike me as a super patient person. So
No,
it's
he's not. So I'm consoling him on the side, getting into his psyche to relax.
Yeah, you
We'll
gotta
find
come
him to
down,
be
bro. It's just it's a process, and it's a marathon, right? Like it's just that good habit day in and day out, and that's what gets you to the end of the race, really. So it's just like understanding that aspect of it as well.
100%. Well, I'm pumped, like I said, for our guest today. So I want to get right into it. So today on the show, we've got our good friend Aaron Velke. We've both known Aaron for 5 or 6 years at this point. He's an awesome dude. He's an entrepreneur, a writer, a high performance coach, a speaker, an author. He's from Baltimore, Maryland. He's the CEO of Money Club, a community of people interested in building wealth in a way that aligns with their values, offering courses and coaching products, passive income, creating financial freedom, and creating generational wealth. He's got a whole bunch of stuff. I'm going to let him go through all of that. But Aaron recently also got in the short-term rental game and super pumped. And we'll definitely talk about that. But he's just an awesome human and just super authentic and very genuine. And I love hanging out with him. And he's got a way about him that's just, you just want to get around this guy. You just got to be around him. So without further ado, Aaron, welcome to the show, buddy. Thanks for being here.
I'm so excited to be here. It's so cool to be here with you guys, man. It's been weird not being able to be face to face with you for a while, but it's great to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So again, we met through a different mastermind, which again, E and I preach about all the time, like getting in the right environments to meet the people that you want to get around that are going to help you level up. And Aaron's helped me level up in a lot of ways, even from some simple stuff of like simplifying some budgeting things to credit card hacking. I have not flown anything but first class for the last 2 years, and I don't think I've paid anything for it, thanks to Aaron's credit card hacking techniques, and super grateful for that.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So, Aaron, why don't you give the listeners a little bit more on your background and everything you got going on, and then we'll transition into how you got into short-term rentals.
Yeah. This is always a fun story to rehash. Hindsight always makes the story sound way cooler too. So about 8 years ago, I quit my job, and the whole purpose of me quitting at the time was to build an organization that was teaching kids about money. And we grew, we changed, we evolved. I grew, changed, and evolved. And COVID slammed that door so hard in my face because education just changed a lot. So we pivoted into bringing the ideas that we brought to kids, just simple principles of money, and started skewing towards adults and offering employee wellness programs for companies that have a real deep need to better their employees, and then having this community open up to talk about wealth. And what's really interesting about the whole arc, so 8 years has like flown by. The commitment really early was, I know that money can change a person. What if money didn't have to change a person for the negative? What if their relationship with money was healthy and healed? And as I grew, the way the organization could create content and find experts and really develop stairs for people started to evolve and grow as well. And one of the biggest shifts, I got out of the way and found people that knew way more about money than I did, and let them be the teachers, let them be the experts. And I simply followed them and supported them in the build of the education itself. But like this whole Money Club experience has been an effort to bring the conversation of money and make it safe, one, which is that alone is very powerful. Just to be able to talk about money is powerful. And then two, to provide stairs for people that may never have otherwise known what to do with their money, not knowing what to invest in, not knowing what investing is. And it's been quite a journey. It's unlocked so much. I've worn a lot of different hats. I've been a soccer coach. I've been a writer. I speak and coach a lot. I've got a couple other orgs that I'm involved in, and all of it has a very crisp thread of like, I'm just trying to make the world a little better day by day. And money, and specifically the relationship of money, is one of the ways that I think you can power a lot of liberation for people, is to help them figure that piece out.
I think one thing that people find, it kind of stops people in their tracks. Like if people start hanging out with me and they get close to me, like we talk about money all the time. Like Aaron, anybody else that's like close to me, like I'm like, yeah, like this is what we brought in last month and I'm working on these types of deals. Like it's not a big deal, but it's been this like taboo thing in society of like, you shouldn't talk about money. Yep. The problem with that is like, you're not learning anything. Like, why is money a taboo subject? Like, why shouldn't you talk about it? You're giving 60% of your life away to go make money to feed your family and buy a house or rent an apartment, whatever it is, like to sustain your life. But like, we're afraid to talk about it, which is just so backwards. Like we're open to talking about everything else except money. And so, I love what you're doing. Like you said, creating that safe space where there's no judgment. Like it's not about I make more, you make more. That's not it at all. But it's just like having the conversation, because once you do, it can open you up to new opportunities and get you to start thinking bigger. Like, oh, wow, like this person makes 15x what I'm making. I didn't even think that was possible. I didn't know a quote unquote normal person could make that kind of money. And it just shows you like what's possible.
I like to say, if you can't talk about it, you can't have it.
I love that.
It all starts there. Like education has a large stamp that most individuals distance from themselves, because school is different, right? Education, like being school, is very different than what we're talking about here. And you just got to learn, and that often starts with communication being like the spinal column of change. You got to learn, and that means you got to potentially raise your hand and say, hey, I don't understand. I didn't even know you could do that. How did you do that? Or you might have to raise your hand and say, hey, I need help. In our community, one of the coolest moments is when someone asks a question. And that's such a simple thing. When it comes to money, not necessarily easy. Like, here's where I'm at, and I need help, or I want help, or hey, I just don't understand. That's the catalyst of change. That's how you start the process for more.
So why don't we transition a little bit? So, you built up Money Club, you're getting a lot of like really smart people around you that can teach in different lanes and different things like that. And you're also learning along the way. What triggered you to get into the short-term rental space?
A couple things. One, it was always part of the roadmap. It always was part of the destination, or the journey. The timing, I just needed to be patient. I've been hosting retreats for, I don't know, like 4 years now. And every time I go on a retreat, I jump on Airbnb. I look for a place with 15 beds, and there are 3 options, right? Like any city, there's just not a lot of options for having that many people. And you go in, and sometimes it's okay. Sometimes there are very few greats, very, very few greats. And at some point, as I learn more about real estate from my mentors and leaders, as we do more and more real estate coaching and investing conversations inside of Money Club, I'm like, duh, I'm paying to rent someone's space. I could just have my own, and it's all aligned. It serves my purpose. It helps me host these conversations, and I could just go there when I want to. So it started to really trickle down into what I was experiencing, to suggest that this is it's aligned with my purpose. It's capitally aligned, and from a enjoyment perspective, it's also aligned. If it checks all 3 boxes, I've got to start making moves. And I was around the right people. Masterminds.
Love it. So tell us about this first deal that you did. I thought you were there now, but you're actually in Scottsdale. So tell us, like, where's the first deal that you did, and tell us more about it, and how's it been going?
It's been going amazing. I'll start there. So we talk about mastermind groups being really valuable. The way this came about, the group I was a part of locally had a couple guys who were like, "Hey man, like I just need to get up earlier," and I get up pretty early, so I'm like, "Well, hey, let's jump on a call in the morning." And for 18 months, we get up and have a phone call at 5:30 in the morning. That's a long time. That's a lot of
Every
time.
day?
Every day.
Wow.
5 days a week.
Yeah.
And as we do this more and more, the conversation starts light, and then we get into goals, and then we kind of like dreamed as this all unfolded. And eventually the conversation was, this is something that I want. They're both aligned with that vision. Well, maybe we should start talking about this a little more seriously. And as that started to bubble and bubble and bubble, we started to look around. One of the guys is very familiar with Florida, and we found an awesome property listed in Bradenton. So he was really, really good at the deal and hunting and seeking, and would share it with us, and we would do our assessments. And before you knew it, I remember booking a flight down there and feeling wildly out of my comfort zone. Like, I was nervous about all that we were doing, and it was such an awesome space. So the property was listed, I think it was listed for like $1.2 million. And I was blown away by the fact that we were considering that, because we had talked about doing like a $400,000, $500,000, maybe $600,000 home. And all of a sudden we're like in like swing for the fences kind of mode. So very scared. We found it in Bradenton, listed it, and looked at it. And as soon as we went down and looked at it, you could just tell it had the bones of an Airbnb, a short-term rental, versus a true residence. Someone lived there, and it's still just like, I was there a week ago, and it doesn't really make sense as a home. It only makes sense as a short-term rental. So we start having discussions about what we would change, what it would look like, casting visions, breaking down the financing. And we put in an offer, and it took, there was a lot of different issues with like financing and closing the deal, as many people encounter, but it closed, and I think we officially took ownership late November. Tenants stayed for a few more weeks, and we took about 35 days to renovate, and it launched January this year in a really awesome part of Bradenton. It's close to several different attractions. Bradenton's not like Disney kind of cool, but it's got, there's baseball training stadiums and spring training opportunities, and families go down there. It's 8 miles from the beach. It's near like the Old Town district. Like, it's kind of situated really well. And that area tends to attract like families and like bachelorette parties. So it's appropriately tuned.
Love it. How many bedrooms is it?
5.5.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Nice big house.
It is. And like, it's interesting because the home, if you pull up to it, you're just like, man, like that's the noise I would associate with like the wow effect. You're just like, man. And it takes walking back. The main structure is like 100-year-old house. So great bones, not super large, not small either. It's not until you get into the backyard, into the garage area, where you're just completely wowed. And we specifically staged it so that you have to walk in through all that to get in. And so you're just hit with this humongous wave of like beauty and decadence. Like the backyard, you get to see it, like the pool and these awesome green trees hanging over it. And it's very special, man. It's a very special property.
I don't think we ever had anybody on the show so close to the first like 90 to 180 days of running a property. And I love you and your brain specifically, so I'm very curious to know what your answer to this is going to be. But what have been some of the biggest lessons or some of the biggest things that you weren't expecting in this first 90 days? Because that to me, it's such an important indicator. Because even if you're like, this sounds like a great plan, 90 days is a big enough window that like Mike Tyson said, right? Like you could get punched in the face in those first 90 days. And then the plans are the plans. And then like Mike punches you in the face and you're just like, oh, wow.
Yep.
Okay, I
Yep.
need a second, right? So walk us through that.
That's such a great question, man. Yeah, we definitely got punched in the face a little bit. I think I was ready to like have a guest and then sort of like recalibrate and figure it out. And we had so many bookings so fast that I was completely inundated with, I don't know what to do. And when I think back to really the first 15 to 20 days, I didn't have any of the information. I did some research, but I didn't have any information about the area. And I only went to the house. like I didn't go to the house for 25 days and like bike around the area and figure it out. So I was learning the area and trying to solve people's problems or answer their questions with no experience. And
with Google Maps.
Google Maps and like the little man that you dropped, the yellow guy. So I'm like trying to see street views and make it all happen.
Yeah. And the street views are from like 2015 and you're like, oh, they're like, wait, there is a building now in the middle of the road. You're like, wait, no, it doesn't. Oh shit, it's 2015. Yeah, my bad.
You're just
a whole other
you're not ready for all that. And it was very easy for me to get frustrated and feel like I was failing. And so I remember answering someone's question and the way we structured the partnership is like, I've got a very specific role. I do anything related to like marketing, customer, anything related to guest experience, etc. And I'm like, this is kind of this is the moment. The rest of the stuff, the other two guys, like their moment had already been structured into the deal. My moment is now, and I'm underprepared. So the first big lesson or takeaway was that in the first 20 days, you just kind of ride the chaos a little bit. Thankfully, I'm familiar with chaos to be able to handle it. I just didn't know how much to expect. We had a lot of bookings really quickly, a lot of very fast turnover periods, and it was a bit clunky. And the second takeaway about the clunkiness was that I was very quick to communicate with guests that it was brand new. So I would tell them in like the opening message, hey, we just opened this. Not everything is perfect. We're still figuring some of this out. I want you to like have an amazing experience and just be patient with me as I navigate this with you. And that communication, almost every one of our reviews that we've gotten all 5-star reviews mentions our communication. And that's a big piece.
Yeah, I love it. And I love it because, and I'll tell you where I'm going to take us now, is I love it because to me, it ties back into the work that you've done leading up to this moment, right? And I think what's really important to understand, and we're talking about this off air as well, is there some people are so obsessed with the fake it till you make it. But in reality, if you're just are aware of chaos and are aware of what that looks like, and you're willing to put yourself out there and be like, yo, I have the best intentions. I'm going to take care of you guys. I'll bend over backwards for you. But it's a new listing. It's a new market I'm in. It's a new whatever. What people, and we've said this multiple times, what people get upset by is you trying to make a fool of them, or you trying to handle them, or you trying to mislead them.
Yep.
Long term, that's not going to work. But going back to like having uncomfortable conversations, you got to be comfortable saying like, I don't know what I'm doing, right? And there is an element of like being a business owner that, and it's part of like our programming that is like, if you are this, you should have all the answers. And that's complete bullshit, because Aaron is a perfectly well accomplished entrepreneur and has done multiple businesses, and his comfort is in the chaos. And I felt that, right? Because that's how I feel too. Like, I'm like, I don't know what I'm getting myself into, but I know E, and I know what E is capable of, and I know what E can handle, and I know how E can talk, understand situation, understand people. So my confidence is the chaos happens. We've been through a couple storms. We got the scars to prove it. And I know this water. I know myself. I know my crew. It's not a problem. Right? But you got to be able to like own it, like fucking handle it, like be out there and be like, it's new, guys. Like, I don't know. Where's the best coffee shop? I don't know. I've only tried the one that's right down from my house. Is that the best one? I don't know. But let me know. Give me your feedback. I would love your feedback. And people appreciate it. And people can feel that you care. And that's at the end of the day, if you over communicate and care, most situations can be handled. And you'll keep your 5-star reviews.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think a big thing too, and we touched on it earlier, is I don't care what business you're in, whether it's this business or anything else, like there's going to be ups and downs, and there's going to be moments when you're feeling really overwhelmed, which is why it's super important to surround yourself with good people. Like, I know, like, for a fact, if Aaron ever got to the point where he was like, I don't know if I can handle this, he would absolutely text E or myself, like, no question. Like, even I remember we looked at that deal, whatever it was, in September, October, when you were looking at it. And like, just having like-minded people to bounce stuff off of will give you that extra little bit of confidence, especially when you're starting to doubt yourself a little bit, to move forward. Because I see it so often that people will send me DMs or messages or whatever, and they're like right near the finish line, and then they second guess themselves, and then they fade back. And it's just that fear that comes up, that fear of the unknown. And if you don't have the right people in your corner, it can be very challenging to move forward and just like push through that fear.
It's funny that you can only understand this after the fact. It's just the wild irony. When you're doing something new, you're likely to be a beginner. Just that's it. That's the wisdom. There's no wisdom in that. It's just fact. And when you do that process enough where you're like, oh, I'm new, I'm a beginner, and you don't allow that to create a stigma, then you can actually learn. If you're like, I'm a beginner, I know this, I can do this. Now you're every muscle is tight and you're not flexible, you're not listening, then you can't learn.
Mm-hmm.
And
what was Rock used to talk to us about that. It was the different levels of learning, the competent incompetence and all of that. And it's such a like thing. And again, to me, that's such an important thing of what you talked about at the beginning, even with the money club. It's that understanding that only comes through putting yourself in question, that I don't care if you don't know. And the worst part is this, right? I can smell it if you don't know. Right? And I can see you not knowing. And I see all the show that you're making. And I realize where you are in your journey. I realize how aware you are of your business. I realize how aware you are of the entire situation.
I'm curious now, Aaron. So since you've got some time under your belt, you've got this one kind of higher end luxury property. How are you managing it? So it sounds like you're kind of running like the day-to-day of it now with like guest communications and like pricing and all that stuff. So are you using any tools for that going forward? Like, are you using dynamic pricing or like a PMS or anything like that for like your first unit? Just out of curiosity.
Not a single thing. So here's why. We will, no doubt. From a business perspective, some of it's capital and deploying new resources. For me, though, especially on this side of really getting a feel for this, I'm in learning mode. And thankfully, learning mode is still a paid gig, as this thing, does really well. I want to understand it before I automate it. And not everyone needs to take that path. But in particular, because I have a vision of more of these, I want to get the fundamentals down for me so that as I find the software, I know why the software is necessary and how the software adds to the value of the experience before I simply like delegate it out. And you could argue both ways. For me, being in this space and brand new, I'm doing it not just for me, I'm doing it for the people that I teach. So I really want to understand and be able to say, hey, this is what I tried and this is what worked. This is what failed. This is the lesson that I learned, rather than this is the software that I bought. Eventually, the software will replace me. But I feel there's a amount of responsibility to the individuals that I serve on their path to wealth to have gone through this more manually initially, so I can help them when they go through it manually. Like we're self-managing it, and that takes more work. And
so good.
It's so important for the long run. It's not for now. It sucks now. It doesn't suck now. It's just time now. But it's time on task so that I understand the fundamentals of it at a really high level.
Like, this is what I wanted you on the show, right? Because there is this level of like reality that it's why like I consider you one of my favorite people in the world to like have conversations with and just hang out with, because it's like I feel, and I even told Tasha, I'm so excited about the show because I know by the time the show is over, I'm going to be in a much better mood than I am before the show starts, because I know iron sharpens iron, right? So like, that's what I look forward to my show with Mike every week, because no matter who the guest is, me and Mike are iron, and we know we can sharpen each other and we feel better, right?
Yep.
But in a world that so much is rip and repeat now, right? Without understanding that level it takes to become good at your job, it's such a genuine thing to have you on talking about that, because like you are in the perfect position to listen to a couple shows and then just word vomit what you heard us say and the system we heard us talk about without understanding what it is. And you can talk your way, because I know how well you can talk. I'm sure if anything comes to it, you can talk your way out of it and justify it, right? But there is an element of loving the process and loving the step by step and loving the learning and really being in alignment to the long-term vision. Because again, like wealth in general is a marathon, all aspects of it. So if you're thinking that you're going to get into crypto and all of a sudden make thousands of dollars, I know guys that are making a living out of crypto, but they are obsessed, right? It's constant. It's this constant thing. Airbnbs is the same thing. Like, get in love with the dirt, like get into it, really understand of it, really own it, get dirty, like, right? Like really understand it. But again, it's your mindset shows in the choices you make, because you're in the dirt, but you're still the boss and you still are in alignment with where you're going. And you're like, I'm just doing this because this makes me a better leader, a better business owner, a better entrepreneur, and just a better person. And this is why I'm doing it. Nothing is beneath me. Nothing is this. Nothing is that, which is a bullshit conversation that a lot of people have in their mind. And instead, it's like, I started that way, right? Like I started doing the maintenance and vacuuming shit when it overflooded. I'm like, but that's why I know this business. You know, that's why I have so much confidence in myself and what we do, because I'm like, I've done the reps. I've ran the miles. My legs can go all day. No problems.
I can guarantee you Aaron's legs can go longer than either of us. I've run with Aaron, and he's a savage.
I refuse to run with Aaron, because Aaron runs a mile when he's not training in like 5 to 6 minutes. And it's like, oh, I'm just challenging myself to see if I can still run it.
True story. We were in Montreal, and I was training for my first marathon, and I got up early, and Aaron was like, yeah, I'll run with you. And I think we were doing I was doing like a half marathon run or something like that for the
12
day.
miles that day, right? Because
I was doing like 12 miles or something like that. And Aaron got up super early, went running with me. And I think he ran it twice and then caught back up with me to like help me finish, because like my legs were like noodles. And I think he legit ran the whole thing twice and then helped me finish it. And I was like, Jesus Christ.
And then when you got back, I woke up and met you guys for breakfast, because I wasn't waking up early to go running. So.
I remember that.
But anyway, total side story on that. But
yeah,
what I want to transition into now, based on what you was talking about and what we were talking about offline, is what's your vision for you with the short-term rentals going forward, right? Because I think a lot of people kind of jump into it, you know, without a clear vision first, and then they kind of kick themselves later of like, oh man, this isn't really in alignment with what I was trying to actually execute on.
Yeah, it's very easy to get lost in a like shiny object in any industry, in any space. This one being a really loud and aggressive shiny object. So I like to think of it this way. I've got a couple primary drivers of impact. I've got a couple primary drivers of wealth. You know, there's a lot of ways to isolate your variables. My North Star, though, is the experiences that I want to create for me and for others. Part of that, given that I hold retreats, given that I love to travel, given that travel is a part of the brand, part of the organization, and all of those pieces can be sequenced. Vision is 7 properties in the US, 7 properties out of the US. So the 7 in the US are just my 7 favorite cities that I would go to all the time, that I do go to all the time. And the rental there is a space that I can take my friends, my family. I can take a retreat if I'm going to host one. I can manage or create an experience for those I care about via the go on my behalf. And I can create, like what I'm doing in Bradenton is allowing other families to have their own memories created. So that vision is really, really paramount. The 7 international properties is a similar goal, where I can go to the countries that I love the most. And those will cash flow. They'll do quite well. There'll be awesome properties that have a look and a feel to them with the same kind of commitment to the experience that I would have for myself and for guests that I take. And that's not the only business that I have. So I don't want 100. I don't want 50. This is not my job. This is not my career. This is the way that I can create an experience for others, show others and model how to build it, and make sure I'm living into the coaching and the education that we're delivering in Money Club. So it all vertically aligns. And you know, I don't aspire to have 50 of these, one, because I've seen what that can do when things change. Also, because this is not the who that I am doesn't need 50. The who that I am wants the 7 as an experience, not for the opulence of it.
I love it. I love it. And the thing is like the properties that you're going after, they're higher end luxury properties. So realistically, like 2 or 3 or 4 of those bad boys, like you can create a solid multiple 6-figure income from just a handful of properties. Mm-hmm. And because it's in alignment with what you want to do, you're just going to enjoy it more.
And it's just going to flow, right? Like that's the other thing. It's just like where there is this interest with alignment, what happens to the rest of your life, it also flourishes, because your main highway, it's so rich with satisfaction and people and input, and so you're living in such a high vibration on your main lane that is why societies were built next to water, next to rivers, right? It's because the opulence of the river feeds the bank, right? And so if your highway, it's so clear and so opulent, then anything that you plant along the way eats. But if every time you're like gonna stop and get off and like change the course of your things to go water something else, then you'll have no water and no food. So there's such a, like, again, very, very high level, very different conversation that we normally have on the show. But it's such a cool perspective to see what is possible with vacation rentals as a side quest almost, right? Yeah. As you're doing other businesses, because how many businesses could benefit by the same thing, right? Like you could, you know?
Yeah, I think philosophically, you know, there's all the benchmarks of finance that are really important to understand, yeah. Right? The money you're putting down, the cash on cash return, what you're risking every single month, what your occupancy needs to be, what your average night, like those numbers are really important to get. And from a philosophical perspective, you can easily tie in a short-term rental if you're intentional. It just takes some intention. It doesn't necessarily need to be the same experience I have. It could be, look, I've got a team of 8 and every month I want to take them away somewhere. So rather than paying to go rent a space for 6 days to do our huddles. Let's buy a property and let's make it cash flow so we get paid to do this 8-day retreat. Like, there's so many ways to think of it that way, right? So now we're really talking about understanding leverage and intentional leverage for whatever it is, the outcome that you want. And I don't think enough people take the time to ask why. Why do they want a short-term rental, or why is this particular model advantageous? Many people would just say cash is great, cash flow is great, and it is. I just think there's plenty of opportunity to align it to something bigger than that.
If it's the only driver, I think the wind is gonna come out of your sails sooner than later. Like if that's the only reason, guys, there's a million ways to make money now. Like, we're in such an abundance age that like
anything
so many different ways
want.
to do it.
Yeah.
Play video games and you can do it.
No, I met somebody which you may know, Aaron, from he's part of GoBundance, but he has made a business out of selling parts for golf carts. And he's the biggest wholesaler of golf cart parts in the US.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and you make a living? And he's like, yeah. And now he started with the same suppliers. He's making parts for ATVs. So like the cool ATVs, like the little, it kind of look like golf carts. He's doing the same thing. And he's on his way of being the biggest supplier online of things. And he's just like, again, and now is he able, if he wants to buy a place down in South Florida, that he can Airbnb on the side while still doing his main thing? Yes. And that's what people don't understand. Like Mackenzie Bezos, Jeff Bezos' ex-wife, gave away billions of dollars, and she's richer today than she was when she got divorced. And she still gave away billions of dollars. Because like money makes money. And like the moment you understand that game and you're just playing, the universe just rewards you. Plus, I mean, if you have a lot of money, it's a whole different story. But I know we want to be respectful of your time. I could talk to you for forever. I would rather you come down in person so we can just have a dinner, because that's my personal preference, right? I think you were one of the very first people I saw right after COVID. You made a little escape down to Miami, and he's one of those people that like Mike, Aaron, and a short list of people I would drive to see you, because it's literally iron sharpen iron. So you have to also be mindful in life of those people, right? So there's people that hanging out with is more valuable than others just because what they give you. And you're one of those people. So I'm super appreciative that you came on the show, first of all, and just of who you are as a person, and just the work, because the work you do inspires me to do mine. So I am just humbled.
Thanks, E. That means a lot to me, brother.
I will echo that. And I would encourage the listeners to check out everything you got going on with Money Club and all your other stuff. Why don't we plug all that first, and before we get into the last question, because you got a bunch of really cool stuff going on that would definitely add value to everybody.
Sure, man. So Money Club, if people want to begin down their pathway to wealth, you can go to joinmoneyclub.com. The entire initiative there, again, is to bring conversations, education, courses, coaching around investing to the forefront. We have really awesome, really good employee wellness programs. So we go into companies and teach their team how to build investing, like very simple stuff, which is really powerful because many employees don't get that. I've got an organization that's growing called the Quitters Club, and that's essentially, can we make quitting cool? And what we're quitting is important, right? We're quitting the things that don't serve us, quitting our bad habits, quitting our self-sabotage, quitting our fear, those kinds of things. And that's a movement that we're trying to begin that'll start by the time this airs, within a few weeks. So very excited about that. I've got a book called Let Her Play. That's from my experience coaching girls soccer for about 12 years. And that is for any parent that's got a daughter. And I don't know. I'm not sure that either of you know this. I'll be a dad in like 90 days.
What? Dude, how did you not tell me that?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah. So like it's bringing that whole story of Let Her Play like full circle, really special. And then, outside of that, I do some very limited coaching that is much more about transformational leadership. I'm very excited about that. And with this short-term rental down in Bradenton, I've learned a lot about leverage, and I'm working on isolating city number 2, so I can build short-term rental number 2.
Love it. You got the bug.
I really think you should do more with your life. I don't think you're doing enough.
I'm lazy, man. I don't do anything.
It's literally like, and I know there's a couple more things that haven't made it on the list. I'm just like, how does he do it, right? But again, bro, it's just alignment and purpose, and life just wakes you up and pulls you towards it every day. And when you're not, that's why the bed feels so comfortable and you can't get up, and you just, you know what I mean? It's all a matter of choices, you know what I mean? And maybe the choices people are making now are not in alignment, but like, this is what's possible, you know what I mean? And just like, it's so fun, and it's been so fun to watch you grow as well. Just let me know the list of places so we don't buy places in the same cities. So we have there's another thing. I was like, Mike has Orlando now, so I'm never gonna buy anything up there because Mike is there. So I'm like, oh, let's see what can we take over the world, and then we can just do a Soho house just for our friends. If you guys don't know what Soho House is, it's such a cool concept, very similar to like what we're talking about, right? It's like clubs all over the world that have rooms and gyms and pools, and it's just like you get to hop all around the world. You have to be invited to become a member of, but it's just really cool.
That's really cool.
So, yeah.
I feel like we need one of those big world maps, and we can just put pins. And then the other cool part of short-term rentals that I'm sure the three of us could value is, if you guys were coming to Bradenton, I have a resource to support your experience. Like that is so special.
Yeah.
And it's an undersold part of it.
I have exchanged weeks. I've exchanged 2 weeks for 2 weeks in Sardinia a couple years ago.
That's a cool idea.
To somebody, I'm like, yeah, here, I'll give you 2 weeks for that plus this much money. And they're like, yeah, why not? I'm like, oh, perfect.
Wow. Yeah,
that's
that's
free
really
money.
special.
Yeah.
Love it. Well, the last question that we like to ask all of our guests is, what is your number one secret to success with short-term rentals?
And wealth, in your case.
We
want both.
Given that I'm new, and I only have a little bit of data, I would say it's the extra 3.5%, the extra 7 minutes, the extra question being asked to a guest before they arrive, so that the rest of the communication can keep that thread. It is not a lot of magic. The space, sure, we set it up. It's beautiful. We were very intentional about what each room had. There's a theme in each room. Those are great. I think the magic is talking to people like people, figuring out why they're there. And when they have an issue, being able to take the 3 minutes to just call them, or take 7 minutes and book a arrival for them. And we're going to have almost every one of our guests and we've only, mind you, this is 90 days old. So every one of our guests, we've only had 15, has been like, I'm going to come back. I'm bringing my family back. We won't have to sell. Now it's competitive against the other people that have come. So it's an internal strategy. It takes a little bit more work, but it's uphill. And once you get across a certain point, we just qualify for Superhost after 90 days. Now we can coast. And I'm very excited for coasting in the sense of communicating very well, making that part of the culture of the short-term rental.
I love it, dude.
What a beautiful mind.
Well, Mr. Velke, as always, man, love talking to you. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Really appreciate it. And best of luck with Bradenton, man. I'll let you know when I get down there.
Sounds great. Appreciate you guys.
All right. Take care, everybody.
Hey, STR Nation, if you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to hit that subscribe button and leave us a review. And in the comments, let us know what topics you want us to cover on upcoming episodes, and we'll make sure to get that in the books for you. And if you really want to learn how to launch, automate, and scale your short-term rental business, if you want to go deeper, then check out our free masterclass at strsecrets.com.